Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Gauranga, the golden incarnation of divine love, by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. We have been reading from the section 1, which is Appearance and Childhood Pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also called Nimai by the ladies. In his childhood, because he was born under the neem tree and he was named Vishwambhar as well, and later on we will find out how Vishwambhar got the name Krishna Chaitanya, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as we call, or Mahaprabhu as we call with a lot of affection. So let us begin our reading. Sachi Devi forgives Nimai. So just to recall, Sachi Devi is the mother of Nimai. One day Lord Chaitanya was angry at his mother when he was a little toddler. With his little baby hands, he gave her a punch. Of course, a little baby can't hurt you, but Mother Sachi fainted like she was really hurt and she fell down unconscious. The other ladies chastised Nimai, saying, "You should not hit your mother. If you want to bring her back to consciousness, you have to bring 2 coconuts. Where will a little baby get 2 coconuts? He ran out and came right back with 2 coconuts. They were amazed. Where did the little baby get 2 coconuts? He came back and offered them to his mother and told her he would never hit her again. So she came back into consciousness and hugged her little child. Nimai asked to attend the festival. When Lord Chaitanya was a little toddler, when he had just started to speak, he once started to cry and would not stop. His father was asking, "Why are you crying?" They brought the doctor, but the doctor said he was not sick. So Jagannath Mishra asked, "Please tell me what we can do to stop you crying." The Lord replied, "Please take me to the house of Jagdish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit." "Why? What is happening there?" "They're having a big Ekadashi feast, so I want to go." Jagannath Mishra was thinking, how can a little child know about Ekadashi? How did he know that they are having the feast over there, since they didn't tell anybody? But he thought he would go and find out. So he took his son on his shoulder and crossed the river to Swarupaganj, because Jagdish and Hiranya Pandit lived in Godrum Dweep. When they got there, there was a big offering of 108 preparations in front of the deities, because it was Ekadashi. The deity does not fast on Ekadashi, but the devotees do. So when he asked what is happening, they replied, "Today it is a special anniversary day. Every year we do a big offering on this day." Then Jagannath Mishra told them what his son had said. They thought in their hearts that this boy must be Krishna, otherwise how could he know? So they offered him all the prasadam, and he took the different offerings, smiling very happily. In Vrindavan, people don't know that Krishna is God, but in their hearts they naturally feel that they want to worship him. They want to serve him and love him in the same way the devotees felt spontaneous devotion for Lord Krishna, for Lord Chaitanya. They were so moved, they just naturally wanted to serve him. The thieves bewildered. One time, Lord Chaitanya was walking outside when 2 thieves saw him. They said to each other, "Look, it's a child, a little toddler, and he's got gold ornaments. They must be worth thousands of rupees. He must be rich. Let's go." They spoke to Nimai. "We are your uncles and we have come to give you sweetmeats, sandesh, rasgullas." Nimai said, "Oh, I like sweets." The thieves replied, "So come with us, we'll take you to the sweet shop." So the two men took Nimai on their shoulders and walked off. Little baby Gauranga was happy, silently looking around. They were thinking, money is the honey. We are going to be rich. We'll take this child, then hide and steal his gold. They went all through the town. At that time, Navadvip was very busy town. Maybe 1 million people or so. It was very busy, the biggest city in eastern India. So away from the neighborhood, they entered a big street and they were taking Nimai on their shoulders, and he was enjoying the ride as they were going around and heading towards their hideout outside of the town. Then Nimai said, "Where are my sweets? You said you were going to get me sweets." When they saw the sweet shop, so they stopped and bought him some sandesh, rasgulla, cham-cham, various sweets. As he was eating sweets, they said, "We'll take you home." But they were thinking to take him to their hideout. They walked on, and in their mind they saw the hideout. They thought, "Here we'll steal the ornaments from the child." So they put Lord Chaitanya down, but as soon as Lord Chaitanya was put down, the whole vision changed. They saw that in reality they were at his house. They were right in front of Nimai's house. Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata had heard that some strangers had walked off with a child. You can imagine what they were feeling. They were looking everywhere and the whole neighborhood was running around looking. Then little Lord Chaitanya ran to his father, who cried out, "Oh Nimai, Nimai, we were so worried about you." Jagannath Mishra was so happy to see Nimai again that he wanted to reward the nice gentleman who returned his child. He thought that they must have found him roaming around, but the thieves were afraid because they were guilty and their hearts were not clean. They thought, "We are going to be captured, we are going to be caught. The king's men will hang us or something." So they ran away as fast as they could. Jagannath Mishra was looking, thinking, what is wrong with them? Why are they running? Why are they running away? He didn't know that they had stolen the child to take his ornaments. He thought that some were nice men who had brought his son back. The thieves hid in an orchard and looked back, but nobody was following them. "O Chandi Devi, today you have saved us. You have saved us from certain capture." Thieves worship Chandi, who is one form of Durga. After this, Jagannath Mishra became more concerned about how to ensure his son would grow up properly, and he would be careful about guiding his little boy. Every day little Lord Nimai was having fun with so many people. He was playing like a baby, but actually he was in control of the whole scene, making various dramatic situations to enjoy. In this way, Lord Chaitanya was performing his blissful childhood pastimes. Nimai accepts the Brahman's offering. One day a mendicant Brahman visited the house of Jagannath Mishra. He was worshipping a deity of Gopal, and he came and was talking with Jagannath Mishra about Krishna consciousness. Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata love to have guests, especially Vaishnavas, come and take prasadam at their house. Here was a Vaishnav devotee travelling with his deity, so they requested him, "You please take prasadam." The Brahman Vaishnav replied, "I don't eat anything that I don't offer to my deity, so until I offer to my deity, I can't take. You don't have to bother, just give me some fruits and roots. I can offer them to my Gopal deity." But they said, "You are always eating fruits and roots and things in the jungle. Let us one time offer you a nice meal. You are a guest in our house. How can we just let you have some fruits? Let us offer you nice prasadam, a nice meal. We will cook it and you offer it. We are Brahmanis, so we will cook and you offer to your deity. So he agreed, and then Mother Sachi and all the other ladies, they very happily came together and cut up vegetables and arranged a very nice feast to be cooked for Gopal. The Brahman prepared the offering and put a plate in front of the deity. In the deity worship system, part of the process is that you meditate and invite the Lord to come and eat the offering. So the Brahman went into meditation and he was inviting the Lord, Gopal, Gopal, come here and take your meal. Take this bhoga, eat this offering. Gopal come here and eat this offering. While he was meditating like that, little Nimai walked up and started eating the offering. So when people saw that Nimai was eating the offering, they started saying, "Oh no," and then the Brahman looked down and saw that little boy was eating the offering. And he also said, "Oh no, this offering is spoiled." He didn't know that Gopal personally came and accepted his offering. He thought that this baby spoiled the offering. Then Jagannath Mishra came and saw what had happened, and he became so angry that he started chasing Nimai, and Nimai was running here and there in the house. Jagannath Mishra picked up a little stick and said, "You naughty boy, how are you doing this, ruining the Brahmana's offering?" The Brahmana became frightened and practically tackled Jagannath Mishra and said, "Please, please, don't hit the boy. He is innocent. He doesn't know. He is a little child, a little toddler. What does he know? It is all right. It is not in my stars to eat today. Just give me some fruits." Then they were all pleading, "No, no, my dear sir, we are attached householders. How can we survive if our guests cannot eat? We will be very unhappy. You must let us cook one more time. We will cook another offering and you can offer again." So they were pleading and requesting, and finally he agreed. This time they put Nimai out of sight. Again, all the ladies were happy once he agreed, and they were cooking again very enthusiastically for this Brahman to make the offering to Gopal. This time, by the time it was ready, it was probably about 6 in the night. So then again the Brahman went into his meditation and was calling Gopal, "Come and take this offering, eat this offering, Gopal." Again from nowhere, little Nimai appeared and he started eating the offering. This time the Brahman cried out again, and Jagannath Mishra really became angry, chasing Nimai. "This time you are really in trouble, Nimai. How could you ruin this Brahmana's offering?" So Nimai was running and skipping away from his father, and again the Brahman stopped Jagannath Mishra and said, "Sir, please don't be angry. It is all ordained by the Lord. It doesn't matter. I'm not meant to eat today." Then Vishwarup, Nimai's older brother, came back from the Bhagavatam class of Advaita Gosai. So Vishwarup was the elder brother of Vishwambhar, that is Nimai, and he has come back from the Bhagavatam class of Advaita Gosai. And Advaita Gosai is none other than the incarnation of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu. By this time, Vishwarup was maybe 9 or 10 years old. When the Brahman saw Vishwarup, he was amazed because he is a devotee. And Vishwarup is actually Sankarshan. When he saw Vishwarup, he was so attracted, he said, "Who is this boy?" His heart was immediately drawn to Vishwarup. Who are the fortunate parents of this boy? He was just amazed. Then Vishwarup saw that his father and mother were crying and everybody was upset. He asked, "What happened? What is wrong?" Then he found out that they were upset because the Brahman was their guest and they couldn't serve him properly. They couldn't give him proper prasadam. This is the principle of Atithi Narayan, serving the guest as the Narayan, as if Narayan had personally come to your house. This is a very strong principle in Vedic families, Brahminical families. They really wanted to serve the guests, so everybody was really upset. You can't imagine how much desire they had to serve this Vaishnava, but this Vaishnava was determined. He said, "I'm going to eat fruits, it is all right, forget it." Then young Vishwarup came and he spoke in such a charming way. "My dear Brahman, you are very detached. You spend most of your time living in the forest. Some days you eat, some days you don't eat. You're always fasting, always austere. Going without food is not a big problem for you. But you see, for us, we are all living in the house and our dharma is to serve our guests. So my parents are very upset that they can't serve you. So you please liberate my parents from their suffering and let them help you one more time to make the offering. And you can offer it to deity. You can offer in the middle of night, maybe everybody will be sleeping, nobody will be around. Because Vishwarup was so charming and the way he spoke was so beautiful and philosophically correct, the mendicant became won over. Okay, okay, do whatever you want to do. Then Mother Sachi came back to life. They had also not eaten the whole day. The guests didn't eat, so how could they eat? They started cooking again, but they didn't mind it at all. But they didn't mind at all. They were just upset because they couldn't feed their guests. That degree of hospitality is probably not very much seen, is not seen very much nowadays. This time again they prepared everything and gave it to the Brahman. He looked around and saw Nimai was sleeping. Everybody had gone to sleep. They told him, "You just offer it and take your meal. We will leave you alone." So again the Brahman went into meditation and called out, "Gopal, Gopal, come and take." Then again little Nimai came out and started to take the prasadam. The Brahman couldn't believe how the child was coming, but now there was nobody around. So then Lord Chaitanya changed his form to Gopal Krishna and said, "You keep calling me and I am coming and taking. Why are you getting upset?" Then the Brahman, the mendicant, seeing that his own Lord was coming and personally taking his meal, was overwhelmed to see Krishna face to face. He paid his obeisances. Then little Nimai explained, "Now I have come here in this house, but I am hiding myself, but you kept calling me, so I came. Why are you blaming me?" Like this, he blessed his devotee. Then he went back to his form as Lord Chaitanya and went to his room and lay down. The mendicant was so ecstatic. He was remembering that he had just seen what he had just seen. Here is the pile of rice. Here is where Gopal had taken my offering. Then he just took some rice and started rubbing it on his body, thinking how the Lord personally came and took his offering. He was shouting, "Haribol, Haribol," and rubbing the rice on his body and his head. By his shouting, Jagannath Mishra and everyone came running to see what had happened, and they saw the Brahman then rubbing rice on his body. They asked what happened, but Brahman couldn't say anything because the Lord said not to tell anybody. He was looking silly with rice stuck on his body, but he couldn't explain it, so he just started eating. They thought maybe he is just happy that finally he is getting some rice. They didn't know what had happened, so like this, little Nimai was having so much fun with his different devotees and parents. Lord Chaitanya liberates the puppy. Krishna himself is known as Mukunda, the giver of liberation. Lord Chaitanya not only gives liberation, but he also gives love. So Krishna is also known as Mukunda, which means the giver of liberation, and Lord Chaitanya not only gives us the liberation, but he also gives love. One time when he was just a child, maybe 3 or 4 years old, he saw a group of little puppies playing outside his house. All the puppies ran away, but one puppy stayed, so the Lord thought, "I will take this puppy as my pet." Lord Chaitanya took the dog and tied a little rope around his neck and brought him inside the house. Then he was hugging the puppy, saying, "Oh, my little puppy," just as any 3-year-old child would do to their little pet. But when his mother saw the puppy, she said, "What are you doing? You are a Brahman boy. You should not have puppy in the house." The Lord replied, "No, this is my pet." Mother Saji told him, "You should keep it outside. Dog should not be brought inside the house." In the Vedic custom, dogs are considered impure, so they are kept outside because they may look at offerings made to the Lord. Just then Lord Chaitanya said he wanted to go and take bath with his friend, so Mother Sachi told him, "You go and take your bath, I will watch your puppy, nobody will do anything." So Lord Gauranga went to the Ganga to take his bath. Meanwhile, the mother dog came to the house looking for its puppy. Mother Sachi was relieved. She didn't want the dog around, although she had said she would take care of the puppy. Then Lord Gaura came back. He asked, "Where is my puppy?" Sachi Mata said, "Maybe your friends let him loose." Meanwhile, on the other side of the town, the puppy had been hugged by Lord Chaitanya, started to develop symptoms of love for God. It jumped up and down, barking, "Hari Bol, Hari Bol." Crowds of people gathered. The puppy was rolling on the ground. It was feeling so much love for Krishna, chanting, "Hari Bol, Hari Bol." Rolling on the ground, the puppy left his body, and from his heart came a spark. The soul came out from dog's body. Then a light came in the sky, a brilliant light came down. It was spiritual airplane with Vishnu Dutas, messengers of Lord Vishnu. Just then the soul of dog assumed a human form, and the Vishnu Dutas took him back to the spiritual world. So even as a child, Lord Chaitanya was giving out love. He was just hugging the dog, and the dog received love for God. If anyone would even just touch the lotus feet of the Lord, they would develop love for Godhead. Now, this is the last section of appearance and childhood pastimes. In the appearance and childhood pastimes, the Brahman instructs Jagannath Mishra in a dream. Jagannath Mishra wanted to discipline Nimai sometimes for being so naughty. Once he had a dream where the Brahman appeared in his dream and said, "How can you discipline your son? He is Krishna himself. He is God himself. He is Narayan. How can you discipline him?" Then he was thinking, "What do you mean? My son is my son and I am his father. It is my duty to see that he grows up properly. I have to train him and discipline him." In his dream, the Brahman again said, "Your son is God. Your son is Ishwar. He is Parmeshwar. He is Krishna. What can you teach Ishwar?" Jagannath Mishra replied, "Father is father, son is son. It doesn't matter who he is. Jagannath Mishra is really fixed in his Vatsalya Ras. Just like Nanda Baba and Yashoda." Finally, the Brahmin shouted, "Look, can't you understand your son is God?" Just for a minute it flashed through the mind of Jagannath Mishra, "My son is really God. What can I teach God?" Then he woke up from his dream and thought, "What a nightmare. Nimai is my son." He went straight back into the Vatsalya Bhav. So even after this dream, Jagannath Mishra, he didn't want to believe that his son was Ishwar, his son was Parameshwar, his son was Krishna. He just wanted to be absorbed in the Vatsalya Ras, in the Vatsalya Bhav. So Yogmaya covers the devotees so that they just see the Lord in terms of their relationships. So this is Yogmaya from the spiritual world. And in this world we have the Maya, or the Mahamaya as we say. When we are in the material world, we feel ecstasy and happiness by serving Krishna. Maybe it is cleaning the temple, book distribution, deity worship, taking care of the cows, taking care of the garden, or training our children. Whatever service we do for Krishna, it is our devotional service that gives us happiness. When we become liberated and enter into Krishna's pastimes, we become fixed in some relationships with the God, either as a parent, friend, servant, lover, or wife. Then that relationship is what becomes predominant by Yogmaya, and we get happiness by acting in that particular relationship. It doesn't matter whether Jagannath Mishra chants his japa or not. He is not a sadhaka. He is already perfect. He would do Vishnu Puja and everything, but he was totally absorbed in his relationship with Nimai. That is his service. He is directly serving Krishna. That is the difference between the perfected devotees and us. We can't imitate this Nitya Siddha devotees or the perfected devotees. We need to chant our rounds. We need to practice devotional service. And being absorbed in devotional service, we can all get a taste. We can also get drops of nectar of what it is to serve Krishna. By that, we actually get purified. And by Krishna's mercy, we can also get absorbed into the pastimes of the Lord and have some appropriate relationship just suited for us. Then we can serve the Lord in that particular relationship. So it's so beautifully explained here that we have to first get purified by practicing the devotional service, by chanting our rounds, by getting absorbed in our devotional service, and then we get purified and by Lord's mercy, then we can finally get absorbed into the pastimes of the Lord and have the appropriate relationship with Lord, which is just suited for us. It could be in the Vatsalya Ras, it could be in the Dasya Ras, it could be in the Sakhya Ras, it could be in the Madhurya Ras or the Shanta Ras. Then we can serve the Lord in that particular relationship. So during the childhood pastimes, the parents or parental devotees have so many opportunities to do service, and as the Lord grows into childhood, then the friends have lots of opportunities. Like this, there are different phases of pastimes when different relationships get more scope. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are so filled with nectar. So Narottam Das Thakur says that by remembering these pastimes, Narottam Das Thakur is one of the acharyas of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, says that by remembering these pastimes, one can develop devotion for Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya was a child, he had many loving episodes with his mother and father. His father wanted to be a perfect father for his son. He is in the Vatsalya Ras, the parental mood. He doesn't think that his son is God, and he thinks of his son as any other father thinks of his son. So next time we will begin reading from the section 2, which is Navadvip and Youth Pastimes. Thank you for joining. I am Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.